Today's weather update video, we're going to be talking about a severe weather threat that is going to be moving through the plains throughout the next couple of days. And we also do have a flooding threat that is going on in the East Coast from yesterday into today, where, especially in the Southeast, we could be seeing quite a bit of flooding possible, as well as some other areas, especially in the Pacific Northwest as well. We're also going to be talking about the heat risk that is still going to be in effect throughout the eastern half of the country. Today, we do have a slight risk over here in eastern Colorado, western South Dakota, and Nebraska. The Cheyenne metro area is going to be included in this as well, so just to add that. And then we do have a marginal risk that will be surrounding this. But we do have one down here as well as the southeast, so Carolinas, areas in the Dixie Alley. We are going to be seeing isolated severe weather happening, and that's going to be very possible as well. Biggest threat is going to be our hail threat, as over here in kind of like where the slight risk area is, we do have a slight chance for a 50% risk of hail within 25 miles of a point. However, over here towards like Cheyenne and some towns in northeast Colorado, we could be seeing that, significant hatch risk of hail. So 2+ inch hail is very possible within right around where Wyoming, Colorado, and Nebraska meet. Now, the wind risk, we still do have that slight risk over here in kind of our severe weather area for today. We do have one kind of in the southeast here, as well as kind of around that slight risk area for severe weather. So we do need to keep in mind about damaging winds. Now, it's going to basically be the same amount of threat as, the hail threat, especially over here in our slight risk zone. But the hail, we could, still see, 2+ inch size hail. And we do have a tornado risk as well. We do have a 5% over here, right where Nebraska, Colorado, and Wyoming do meet. This is only going to affect, I think, around like 50,000 people. And then we do have a much bigger 2% chance that does go up to Rapid City in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Up to 500,000 people will be, in part of this, are going to be impacted by this potentially. So we do need to be aware of the tornado risk that is going to be happening today. Now, for tomorrow, we do have a slight risk. I'm going to call it the slight risk French fry, as we do have one over here in eastern Colorado, western panhandle of Oklahoma, northern panhandle of Texas, and the western bit of Kansas. We do have a much larger moderate risk or marginal risk that does, impact all the way up to South Dakota into, Cheyenne, Wyoming. We do have a little bit one down here over towards the Georgia, Alabama, Florida areas. So isolated severe weather over here in the southeast still is very possible. But our main threat is going to be over here in the plains. Now, the wind and the hail threats are going to be our biggest concern, as we do have a 15% chance possible over here as well. When I switch it over to hail, that is still existing over there. And for the tornado risk, we still do have a 2% over here as well. And obviously that could grow to a 5% or, extend around to different areas of the plains. So we do need to be aware of that, because we are still within out of a day, so stuff are likely to change. On day 3, the SPC may be suggesting our little French fry, is a marginal risk. But I do think there is certainly that chance that we could be seeing a slight risk that could be happening within any of this. Now, what happens right until we get into the evening time, we do have those severe weather storms popping up over here in Colorado, New Mexico, and Wyoming. And those are going to be moving eastward as we kind of move into overnight. And, the storms will kind of weaken a bit because, we're going to lose some daytime heating. And then obviously whenever that moves into tomorrow, some more of these pop-up storms will happen along Colorado and Kansas border, and those are going to be moving east. Now, those other storms that are going to be for tomorrow could still, or it's probably even last even more. So we do need to be aware of that. And the last update that we did see from the Triple R model is kind of back about around this morning if you're watching this on August 1st. So this could, be a little mismatch, but I still think this is still pretty accurate overall of what's going to be happening for tonight and tomorrow nights. Now, for excessive rainfall, today, we do have 5 different areas of slight risk. One over here, kind of in the Pacific Northwest, over here in the Dakotas, a little bit of northeastern New Mexico, around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we could be seeing some. And the most concerned I'm with today is the Southeast. Any of these other areas, they're really small areas. These are going to be like isolated areas, so they are not the worst problematic for flooding, but we can't, still rule out some flooding being possible in these areas. I'm really mostly concerned about the Pacific Northwest up here and as well as the Southeast down here for excessive rainfall. We still have a slight risk down here in Kansas, Oklahoma. Those severe storms could be causing some heavy rainfall. Still down here in the Southeast, though, we still have that slight risk in effect. So long-term flooding is very possible down here in the Southeast, especially. 3, we still already have a slight risk over here in Kansas and Oklahoma, and still down here towards the Georgia and South Carolina coast, we could still be seeing quite a bit of flooding. So down here in the Southeast especially, we could be seeing quite a bit of problems with flooding happening. All right, now for the next 24 hours, we are going to be seeing quite a bit of rainfall, especially down here in South Dakota, where some areas could go up to 4 inches or even 5 inches possible. Even over down here in the Carolinas, where we've been having flooding, along New Jersey, New York yesterday, that rain is going to be shifting southward. Now, hopefully most of our rain is going to stay off coast. However, some areas in, North Carolina and Virginia still could see up to 3 inches possible. Next 48 hours, that rain down here in the southeast is going to continue on to Georgia and Florida, as still some areas could see up to 3 inches possible. Down here in South Dakota, still some areas could be up to 4 to 5 inches. In the Pacific Northwest, we will have quite the area of 1 to 2 inches being possible. Now, for temperatures throughout the next 6 to 10 days, majority of the United States is going to be above average for temperatures. The Pacific Northwest, we could be seeing a little bit cooler than average temperatures, even down here in the Southeast. Some areas could be experiencing near normal average temperatures, but majority of the U.S. is going to be at least above average for the next 6 to 10 days, so at least through mid-August. The next 8 to 14 days, all of the United States is going to be above the average temperatures. So we are going to have quite a bit of a hot August that could be happening. Then for precipitation, most of the country is going to kind of be split between, higher than average precipitation and lower than average precipitation. If you're down here in the Rocky Mountains, plains, southern plains, a little bit of the southeast, we'll probably experience that lower than average precipitation. Pacific Northwest, northern plains, and the eastern half of the country, most likely we'll be seeing, maybe a tiny bit above than average precip, at least through mid-August. That could be happening. Then 8 to 14 days, we are having a lot of not confidence happening. So the WPC Weather Prediction Center is not very confident about how much precipitation we could be seeing throughout the next 8 to 14 days. But hopefully the all this gray that we're seeing means that really we are, near normal average for precipitation. Same thing over here in the East Coast. Now, most of the time it's not, but a few of the time that can't happen because it is 8 to 14 days. Still really anything could change, but I would say most of the country is probably going to be near normal or above average for precipitation. Right now for drought, we are having a lot of drought, especially over here in the Pacific Northwest and Northern Plains. And especially where we've been having that heat across, the eastern half of the U.S. Some areas down here in the southeast really need that rain. Even after towards, the Great Lakes too and the plains over here, we especially need that because I know for farmers it is harvesting season that is going to be happening. So drought can ruin crops, especially happening. Even some metro areas up here in the Northeast too have been experiencing a little bit of drought not much, but over here, especially in the plains, it could be seeing up to a severe drought possible. And this is right now too, so we've got to be aware of that, and make sure you water your crops a lot so that way they stay alive. Now, temperatures over the past day or two, we are going to be seeing quite a high temperature for today. Some areas could be up to 80 degrees possible. This. I'm only going to be overlooking the Ohio River Valley because that's where the highest of the temperatures are going to be. And as we move over into tonight, hopefully some cooler air goes down to those areas where it's going to be 80, and hopefully lower to mid 60s could happen for your location for the future. And then as we kind of go into tomorrow, we'll have much more hotter temperatures, and some isolated areas over here could be up to 90 degrees possible. And then as we kind of go through the night, hopefully that cooler temperatures comes back in, and lower 60s could still happen for a lot of the areas along the Ohio River Valley. All right, that's going to be the end for my weather update video. So if you guys like to see another update video, make sure you guys like and subscribe for updates. Consider sharing with other people. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.